The Last Wish in the World by Year 3-4 Ralph Butterfields Primary School. It was rush hour in the city. All afternoon the snow had been falling. Street lights were glowing a misty orange light which lit the darkness a little. Towering above the gloomy, glistening streets, skyscrapers stood proudly. Far below, in the wonderful winter streets, people were rushing in and out of shops buying toys, foods and gifts. Some happily enjoying the season, while others anxiously rushed about as they tried to gather everything they needed. Everyone was slipping and sliding on the ice and snow as they went. Business people were dashing into skyscrapers, empty-handed, and coming out hands full of paperwork. Inside the brightly lit church, people gathered ready to sing carols. In a pub, some men were watching an exciting football match. Meanwhile, window cleaners cleaned the dirty windows efficiently. On the traffic-choked road, a slow bin lorry was trying to keep up with the tired bin men who couldn't hear above the sounds of the town. Frantically, pigeons dived into bins, searching for leftover food. Others huddled together, trying to get to sleep over the noise of the city. Mysteriously, black cats hid in the shadows, spying on them. Unnoticed in an alleyway, a fox was rummaging through the rubbish, finding scraps to eat. Down in the station, trains were rushing past in a blur of colour as workers were rushing around trying to get home. No one noticed the wizard come out of the train station. Nervously, he stepped out onto the slippery cobbled street and glanced around. He wondered whether he would complete his quest or not. The wizard, who wore an old tattered coat that trailed along the floor, began to persuade people to take his box. As the people on the street ignored him, his cloak slowly started to change colour. It became as blue as the sky because he felt unhappy. He reached below his cloak and placed his hand into a secret inside pocket. Carefully grabbing hold of a wooden box with his wrinkled hands with long yellow nails, the wizard gently removed it. Upon the square lid of the box was what appeared to be an unknown ancient crest. Dangling from the metal latch, attached with string, was a creased cream label with handwritten notes on both sides written in blue ink. The last wish in the world, guaranteed to come true. The wooden box, as dark as the night sky, was the perfect size to sit on the palm of his large, wrinkled hand. A princess gracefully walked towards the wizard. She walked on her tiptoes. She moved elegantly like a swan. The wizard stood up cheerfully. "Hello," he said. "Would you like this box?" He held up the box towards the princess and looked her straight in the eyes. "It had something very special inside," he said. "Is this some kind of trick? What would I want with an old wooden box like that?" she said abruptly. "Please, it's very valuable," pleaded the wizard. "It's more special than you can imagine." "I already have lots of antiques in my castle," the princess replied. "But this is something money can't buy and—" But before the wizard could finish his sentence, the princess had swanned away. Full of joy and grinning widely, a doctor skipped along the snowy path. He wore a bright white doctor's coat with a stethoscope around his neck. Out of the blue, the wizard jumped in his way. "Please, please, please." Each time the wizard said the word, it got longer and longer. He danced in front of the doctor to stop him walking away. "Please, take this box." "Let me pass," said the doctor fiercely. "But it's got the last wish in the world in it." "Are you kidding me? There's lots more wishes in the world. This wish is not as special as you imagine." "But this box has got anything you can imagine in it." The wizard's voice trailed off into a stifled sob. An old man appeared. Although he found walking difficult, he seemed determined to keep going. He was wearing a brown tweed jacket with pointed shoes. He was very smart. His face was scrunched up. You could barely see his eyes. Every few steps he would stop to place his hand on the small of his back, to use it to push his back forward, to crack his spine. The wizard leaned forward with his feet shoulder width apart and knees slightly bent. "Please," he said with a quivering voice. His eyes were pleading and he carefully held the box like a precious pet. "Please, can you take this box?" His voice was almost a whisper with a hint of tiredness. "Pardon?" replied the old man, holding his fingers behind his ear. "Please, will you take this box?" the wizard shouted. "Socks? I don't need any socks, thank you," the old man answered, throwing a smile over his shoulder as he carried on. The wizard had failed. His journey had taken him around the world, but still the box was in his hands. Feeling he could do no more, he placed the box upon a bench and left. He disappeared into the night. Then the girl arrived. She sat on the bench, resting from her journey home from school. She saw the box, picked it up and read the label. The last wish in the world, guaranteed to come true. She read again. The last wish. She frowned and bit her lip. She had only one chance, it seemed. After that, the world would apparently be wishless. Well, what should she wish for then? To be rich? To be famous? However hard she tried, she just couldn't make up her mind. Soon her head ached with all the wishes she had to choose from. "Oh, this is no fun at all," she wailed. "I wish that the wish in this box wasn't the last wish in the world." And she threw the box down on the bench. The lid snapped off. So, hurrying away, she didn't notice that she got exactly what she wanted. For out of the broken box slipped wish after wish, all guaranteed to come true. Twisting and turning like snowflakes in the cold night air, they floated over the streets, along the alleys and the shopping centres until they filled every highway and byway in the city. And there, only waiting for someone to discover them, they still are to this day.